And welcome back. We got back to the tower site a little bit before nightfall. I know it's probably changed quite a lot since the last time. You can see that falls over there. This is the big tall waterfall over there. The tower is being built under. This area here is mostly just kind of loose foundation. There's a wheat garden under here. This is the general outline of the tower. As you can see, there's half of the first floor over here. This will eventually kind of be a center chamber with arches. At the moment, the archway here is kind of just filled in with cobblestone, so I can go in and out without having to worry about mobs coming in. Here is the semi-automatic hemp farm that I mentioned creating. Up here you can see the light blocks. And you can see the hemp growing there. I have water running by it. And I have a button here that's hooked up to those pistons that are behind it that will push off the top row against this glass wall. Now you'll notice the glass here looks kind of different than the standard glass I use. That's because I'm using connected textures part of this texture pack, which lets me make them all nice like this with maybe some nice iron ivy effect on the edges. This is the cauldron down here that collects the stuff that gets pushed down. I'll show that off in a minute. And here's the main work hall. These are smooth stone half steps. Let's see. These are axles, and I don't think, and these are gearboxes. I'll make some of those, I think, real quick if I have the materials, just for illustration's sake. Yeah, I think I do. Okay, so when you grind hemp here, you'll get hemp fibers from the grinding mill. Let's see, what else do I need? I need a lot of wood. I need wood. I need gears. I need redstone. Yeah, that should be it. So, one of the central ideas in Better Than Wolves is the use of physical mechanical power. Windmills, later water wheels, that are used to basically turn axles that are connected to them, that in turn turn the gears and gearboxes that connect further to more axles, to more gearboxes, and so on. To eventually turn other things, like run the belt that powers the saw blade for the saw, or run a pottery table that lets you create pottery by putting clay blocks on it, and the clay blocks rotate. And they also have a lot of other uses too. But here's the basics. You'll need to make rope, which you do by doing this. And you have rope. Now, if you were making a windmill, which is the first power source you're going to create, you'll need to make 9 hemp fibers to make fabric. And you'll need 24 fabrics, pieces of fabric, because it's going to be each blade of the windmill is going to be 6 fabrics, 3, one in each of these slots, and then 3 wood planks down here, and that'll make 1 sail. So you do that 4 times in total for 24 fabrics to make the windmill, which you then just put the 4 sails here and it makes a windmill. And there's nothing in the middle there when you make the windmill. And then you need to put the windmill on an axle. And windmills are kind of fussy because you got to watch out for them being big enough to I believe it was something like 13 by 13 in terms of size, so it's pretty big. So you got to have a lot of space to use it, and it's got to be under either open sky or in the nether. And when I say that it's got to have that full 13 by 13 space, that includes like no torches in the way or anything like that. I've had times where I built a windmill, put torches above, and didn't realize that I couldn't place it because of the torches. After you've created the rope, you'll need a good dose of wood here. To make gears, you'll need, at least at this stage, you'll need 1 plank plus 4 rounded to make 2 gears. To make the gearbox, you will need 1 redstone and these, and you'll get a gearbox. When you want to make an axle, you put the rope between 2 wood planks. Later on, once you have the saw, you can instead use molding, which is another, a smaller cut of wood that allows you to make these more efficiently. Similarly, you make siding, which makes a whole lot of different things, from signs to chests, all much more cheaply because each siding is a half a block of planks. So the saw allows you to have much more efficient wood usage. I'm going to create this axle here, and I'll show off real quick how these things interact now that I'm back here. The gearbox is, a gearbox. It connects to the power source and helps transmit power to axles and other areas. Not that chest, it's in this chest. Here we are. Now you'll notice the arrows here on this gearbox. What's up with that is that a power source has to send power into it from only one side. That's the only side that will receive power. So an axle will go into it, and on the other end of these axles, there needs to be like a windmill or a water mill to send the power to this box so that it can send it on to other axles, which can be placed in other ways, in other directions. Now you can't place a gearbox next to a gearbox to transmit power. You always have to have at least 1 axle between gearboxes. And gearboxes are the only way you can turn axles, or turn a group of axles. This will not do anything right here. Because even though you've placed it, it's not connected to anything in this way. So this leads to some tricky designs. Axles can be lined up 3 at a time. If there's power going through them and you place a 4th one, that 4th axle will basically explode and drop some bits of wood and some bits of hemp fiber, but otherwise you pretty much lose your axle. Similarly, if you're powered to a windmill, your first gearbox, the one closest to your windmill itself, if there's a storm on the overworld, then the windmill is, pushed extra hard, and the gearbox can't handle it, and the gearbox will explode, and you'll lose the gearbox and end up with a bit of redstone and some pieces of wood. So the way you can stop that is by, powering it with any redstone related stuff. For example, like a redstone torch or a switch on it or whatever. Any redstone power to a gearbox will shut it down. So redstone only interacts with this box as a means to shut down power transmission to other points. And that's kind of important because many times you'll want to turn on or off things to get different effects. So that's a basic overview of how this will all work. I'll go over here and show a little bit of this as well, if I can. I hope this doesn't break the... Yeah, I better tunnel down a little bit more. Yeah, that's a little bit more. Yeah, no, wrong tool. Okay, no, I went the wrong way. I went outside. Derp. Oh. Damn it. Hit the wiring. There we go. Hitting the wiring like that just triggered the... Oh, and this is dumb right here. Because I fed the wolves en route, I had to take a crap, and this is done. So I can then, which means the wolves are going to be hungry again soon and feed them again. Basically what that just is, it caused them to drop their stuff. Darn it. This always happens sometimes. I don't know how to fix it. Sometimes I'll get a little bit of loss where these things will have that happen. Anyway, down to the way that power works. So I accidentally took out part of the wall there. Okay. Here's the neat part. See, both pistons and light blocks are powered by redstone that's on blocks adjacent to them, but you can't put redstone directly on top of them, either of them. So what happens is you end up powering the blocks adjacent to them by running redstone over them in both of these cases. Now normally you might think to put the power alongside these light blocks, but that won't work because then that power will affect down to your pistons. So that would result in having the pistons sticking out all the time. Oh, I think another one just took a crap. I think you may have heard that sound briefly, that kind of brrrr sound that they make. I just gotta look around for the oh god, I'm starving to death. I'm an idiot. Ow. Go over here and collect my food. Got so caught up in talking, I didn't realize why I was getting hurt. But I was partially phased into the wall by accident. Anyway. As I was saying, so I set it up here so that, I relay the power using a torch. There's a torch over here on the other side of the button, so that when the button hits, this turns off, allowing this to turn on, which allows this to be powered, and it extrudes these pistons. While this is always on, and as it's above these blocks, it powers them, but not this, and likewise this is next to, but not next to these. So this is the kind of arrangement you want to have if you don't want to have your pistons out all the time. And I died like a moron. I'll be back.